Outcome of democracy. The outcome of democracy can vary depending on the specific context and the way it is implemented. In general, democracy is a form of government where power is vested in the hands of the people, either directly or through elected representatives. Some common outcomes and benefits of democracy include: 1. Political stability. Democracies tend to be more politically stable than authoritarian regimes since they provide peaceful mechanisms for power transition and leadership change through elections. 2. Protection of individual rights. Democracies often uphold and protect the rights and freedoms of individuals, including freedom of speech, expression, assembly, and the right to vote. 3. Rule of law. Democracies typically operate under the rule of law, where laws apply equally to all citizens, including those in power, and the judiciary plays a crucial role in upholding the law. 4. Economic development. While not guaranteed, democracies have shown a tendency to promote economic growth and development. A transparent and accountable government can foster a better business environment and attract investments. 5. Responsive government. Elected leaders in a democracy are more accountable to the people and, in theory, are more responsive to the needs and desires of the citizens. 6. Peaceful conflict resolution. In democratic societies, conflicts are often resolved through peaceful means, such as negotiations and dialogue, rather than through violence or repression. 7. Social cohesion. Democracies can foster social cohesion and a sense of national identity, as people from diverse backgrounds have a say in the governance of their country. 8. Checks and balances. Democracies often have systems of checks and balances, which prevent the concentration of power in any one institution or individual, ensuring a more balanced distribution of authority. However, it's essential to note that democracies are not immune to challenges and issues. Some potential drawbacks include: 1. Slow decision-making. In some cases, democratic decision-making processes can be time-consuming, leading to delays in addressing urgent issues. 2. Political polarization. Democracies may experience political polarization, making it challenging to find common ground and achieve consensus on important matters. 3. Short-term focus. Elected officials may prioritize short-term gains to secure re-election, sometimes at the expense of long-term planning and sustainability. 4. Voter apathy. Low voter turnout and voter apathy can weaken the democratic process and lead to a lack of representation for certain groups. 5. Majority tyranny. In a majority rule system, there is a risk of the majority infringing on the rights of minorities if sufficient protections are not in place. 6. Influence of money and special interests. Wealthy individuals and special interest groups may have the means to exert undue influence on the political process through lobbying and campaign financing. Despite these challenges, many societies view democracy as a preferable form of government because it provides a framework for protecting human rights, fostering accountability, and allowing for peaceful change and progress. However, the success of a democracy depends on the active participation and vigilance of its citizens, as well as the strength of its institutions and adherence to democratic principles. How do we assess democracy's outcomes? Assessing the outcomes of democracy involves evaluating how well a democratic system functions and whether it delivers on its promises of representing the will of the people, protecting individual rights, and promoting the well-being of the society as a whole. Here are some key aspects to consider when assessing the outcomes of democracy. 1. Free and fair elections. One of the fundamental pillars of democracy is the regular holding of free and fair elections. Assessing the electoral process involves evaluating voter registration, accessibility of polling stations, the integrity of the voting process, transparency in the vote counting, and the independence of the election monitoring bodies. 2. Political participation. A thriving democracy encourages active political participation from its citizens. Assessing this outcome involves looking at voter turnout in elections, engagement in civic activities, participation in protests or demonstrations, and public involvement in policy-making processes. 3. Protection of human rights. A critical measure of democracy's success is its ability to safeguard human rights and fundamental freedoms. Evaluate the extent to which the government respects and protects individual rights, such as freedom of speech, expression, assembly, and the right to privacy. 4. Rule of law and judicial independence. A robust democratic system upholds the rule of law and ensures an independent judiciary. Assess the degree to which laws apply equally to all citizens, and judicial decisions are free from political interference. 5. Transparency and accountability. Democracy requires transparency in government actions and the accountability of elected officials. Assess the level of transparency in decision-making processes, government spending, and whether elected representatives are held accountable for their actions. 6. Economic prosperity and development. Evaluate the economic performance of the country and its impact on the well-being of citizens. While democracy is not solely responsible for economic outcomes, a stable democratic environment can create a conducive atmosphere for economic growth. 7. Social cohesion and inclusivity. Assess whether democracy promotes social cohesion and inclusivity by providing opportunities for marginalized groups to participate in the political process and have their voices heard. 8. Media freedom. A free and independent media is essential for a well-functioning democracy. Assess the level of media freedom and the diversity of media outlets providing unbiased information to the public. 9. Conflict resolution. Analyze how conflicts are addressed within the democratic system. A successful democracy should have mechanisms in place to resolve disputes peacefully and inclusively. Thanks for watching. Political Knowledge 8470.